People, Deluded, I'm back again. As usual, it's a pleasure to have you lot tuned in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you're voting for the guy. Information's in the description. Now, this morning, you would have seen us defeat Bournemouth on penalties. The game ended 1-1. Obviously, Emile Smith-Rowe didn't play. It seems like he's very close to completing an exit and signing for Fulham. I really want to cry as I say that. You know, Reece Nelson and obviously Eddie Nketiah played despite their own futures also being subject to speculation. Actually, Fabio Vieira as well. Allegedly, Calafiori is set for his medical. He's flying to America and we're the favourites to sign Merino. So if I share my screen with you lot, we'll get exactly into everything if you just give me 30 seconds. Now, big up to you lot who have checked out the previous content. The Athletic's David Ornstein did say late last night, or better yet early this morning, Fulham close to agreement with Arsenal for Emile Smith-Rowe. Fulham are close to reaching an agreement with Arsenal to sign midfielder Emile Smith-Rowe. Talks between the Premier League side centre on a transfer worth up to 35 million, which would be a record acquisition for Fulham and match Arsenal's biggest sale. Now, clearly, Arsenal need to do a lot better where it comes to player sales, because 35 million for outgoing should be, you know, somewhat of a common sort of factor for us. Smith-Rowe has 2 years left on his contract, has been a marginalised figure for the last 2 seasons and not been able to play. And all the rhetoric we see out of Arsenal Football Club is that Mikel Arteta wants to keep him and he rates him. But it seems like first team football is something Smith-Rowe wants to do. And it's almost like being in a marriage, in a loving marriage. Sometimes, you know, the best relationship, the best resolution for both parties is to depart to allow them to both flourish. In which I can't really complain. He's got 2 years left. His stock has fallen. We're getting 35 million. You look at the Calafiori deal, you're hearing 40 to 50 odd million euros. If we sell Smith-Rowe, who does go down as 100% profit on PSR, indirectly, you know, what would be the true cost of the Calafiori business that we're doing? So it is what it is. And you would have seen he did not play against Bournemouth. We'll get on to what Mikel Arteta specifically said. Subject to a deal being struck by the club, Smith-Rowe must undergo a medical and finalise personal terms ahead of completing the proposed move. Crystal Palace have also been linked, and while you can't rule them out of the race, they seem like, you know, Fulham have won. Again, going back to Eddie Nketiah and Reece Nelson, they both played yesterday against Bournemouth. Smith-Rowe was on the bench and played no part beyond obviously the warm-up. So it's safe to say that for all the talk about Reece Nelson to West Ham and Leicester, Eddie Nketiah with Premier League clubs at Marseille, Smith-Rowe's the real tangible exit at this moment in time because he could not play. Kivior's been linked with several moves away as well. So, yeah, I'm going to miss Smith-Rowe. But at the end of the day, he's made just 3 Premier League starts since August 2022 due to competition, fitness, and his stock falling. He came through our Hayland system. He had his own chant. He was our number 10. He's made 115 appearances for this football club. So he can leave with his head held high. But it's probably not the exit we want to see. I'm sure we all remember him saying, I want to stay at Arsenal for life, etc., etc. It doesn't appear that that will be the case. Now, as I just said, Mikel Arteta has spoken. Forgive me, Gaffer. He did speak about the game, but that's kind of irrelevant in that regards. Apologies, folks. I should have my phone on private. I said private. I should have it on silent. I apologize, people. Who knows? It could be Mikel Arteta saying he needs another fullback option. You like, man? I like, please. Staying on brand with things, people. On Smith-Rowe not being involved, there are things happening in the background at the moment, and we decided the best thing to do is keep him away from the game. So again, naturally, if he does get injured, he's with this a spanner in the works. He did speak about the youngsters receiving minutes. Big up all the youngsters. I think he even did very well. I think Miles Lewis-Skelly did well. I must admit, I think Ethan could play a lot better. I don't understand the hype based on that game, if I'm honest. And shout out to Josh Nichols for his minutes. We all would have seen the video where his mum is obviously, for him it'd be embarrassing. For his mum, it's a proud moment, really. Shout out to Carl Hein for his penalty heroics. He's someone that should potentially leave on loan. Arteta has alluded to that and more or less said, that we are looking at loans. But at the moment, as you can see, with no David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale taking part in our pre-season preparations, we're a bit short in terms of goalkeepers. Now, Smith-Rowe and all of the outgoings were going to be subject to speculation, and Arteta knew he was going to be asked about it. No doubt he's going to be asked about Calafiori, and he's kept his cards close to his chest. He said, there's no update. As soon as we have something to say, we'll be the first ones to say. You know that I don't like talking about any external players, but this is the situation at the moment. He then went on to say on Reece Nelson and Nketiah, a lot of players have been linked with potential moves. He's not lying. Zinchenko, Kivior, and Nketiah, Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, and the list goes on. Even some players that are not participating. It's normal. We are in that moment in the market. What I really like are that the players that we have with the level that they are showing, and especially the commitment that you can see in those two, just the way they have performed. Naturally, he's not going to say anything different. Moving away from that, Romano has said, you know, Calafiori, on the Calafiori front, better yet, Arsenal just scheduled a new plan for Ricardo Calafiori. Understand the first part of the medical will take place in London, with player due to travel soon. Final check in the US, and then Calafiori will sign a 5-year deal as a new Arsenal player. Here we go, confirmed. You'd imagine in the next few days this is officially announced, and obviously we've now got what, Manchester United on the Sunday, early Sunday for us in the United Kingdom, and then obviously Liverpool. So the quicker we get him in, the quicker we can see him in Arsenal colours, and the quicker he can begin his new life as an Arsenal footballer. Charles Watts has been speaking, and he's more or less echoed what Romano has said, in that, you know, he will soon link up with his new mates, the Italian international, proving all goes well with his medical. In terms of Emil Smith Rowe, it does seem like we're getting quite closer. He said Smith Rowe was in the squad in LA, but was an unused substitute against Bournemouth. Arteta, we've obviously gone over that. Discussions are ongoing between the clubs, and there's still some work to be done on the deal, but the expectation is that Smith Rowe's exit is now imminent, people. So farewell, Smith Rowe, in that regards, people. Again, we've gone over that. It seems like 35 million quid. We've stolen someone from Manchester City. I have spoken about this, but Manchester City's elite development squad analyst Darren Rogerson is leaving the club to join Arsenal's first team. He's due to start working with Mikel Arteta's squad in the first few months of the upcoming season. He's been at Manchester City for 3 years, following spells in the academy of Derby County, Rangers, and Sheffield United. So welcome to the family, geezer. Benjamin White could be set to, you know, have a future with England. Apparently, he's said to be keen on representing England again, owing to Gareth Southgate's departure. Fabio Vieira, who scored a rocket of a goal, really great play from Reece Nelson to set it up. Arsenal have turned down several approaches from clubs in Germany, Spain, and Italy for Fabio Vieira, while sides from the Saudi Pro League have also been in contact. Mikel Arteta has major hopes that Vieira can play a significant role this season. We need him to stay fit, whether he's playing off the right like he did with no Bukayo Saka, whether he's going to play in the 10 or play in the 8. We need him to stand up to be counted. And I actually think a big point as to why, beyond the obvious, Smith Rowe is going to leave or is eligible to leave, is because of Fabio Vieira. I think the ability is there, just needs to stay fit and play with a certain sort of consistency, and a bit like what we've seen with our squad, give Arteta some positive problems to fit you into the team. We've seen patches of brilliance from Fabio Vieira, but never that prolonged kind of period, and it is time to show us something. Keeping up the theme with left footers, people, Kivior has emerged as a transfer target for Inter Milan. As we know, we're close to signing Calafiori for £40 million. Inter hope that deal will tempt the Gunners into selling Kivior, people. Again, it doesn't say that Inter have placed a bid. It just says they've got an interest in him. He's been linked with AC, Inter, Juventus. He was apparently offered as a mate weight in the Bologna deal to get Calafiori. He wasn't keen on that, and we all know he's contracted for at least 3 years with an option of a further 12 months. So there is a position of strength in that regards, folks. People, make of that what you will. On the Merino front, despite the new contract being offered to Merino, players already taking the decision to leave Sociedad for all practical purposes. Arsenal best place and can focus on the deal now that Calafiori is done, says reports. And again, the Guardian have more or less said attention will turn to him. This is said we're also the favourites to signing in, people. Apparently, sources with knowledge of the situation, Pauls, have informed us that the Gunners are at the front of the queue for the Real Sociedad midfielder, and that talks are ongoing behind the scenes. Negotiations have yet to reach an advanced stage between Arsenal and Sociedad. So again, any talk of an impending move is premature. As no transfer fee has thus far been agreed upon, personal terms are for the most part not expected to be an issue for Merino. One potential sticking point could be the length of his contract, with the player having a different idea from Arsenal and his current employers. The 28-year-old wants his next contract to run for 5 years, which is 28. You could play for a while. You look at Jorginho, you know, 28 to Jorginho's age or in and around that, that is 3-4 years if my maths is correct. Naturally, Arsenal, you probably want to give him 3 years with an option of a 1 year, provided he keeps doing what he's doing. And naturally, for Merino, you want stability. You know, if you're 28 years of age, you can get a 5-year deal. You'd be an idiot not to. Although in the present day, where you look at potentially Thomas Partey next season, 32 years of age he'd be, sometimes running down your contract could be in your best interest, especially if you want to go Saudi and things like that. So there's a lot of hearsay, hasn't said anything in the sense of Arsenal the favourites. We've heard Chelsea and Atletico Madrid don't appeal to Merino. It seems like Barcelona have other priorities. Naturally, when the Calafiori deal is signed, dotted, we'll begin to look at a central midfielder in which obviously Merino plays there. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on in that regards. Only Atletico Madrid have contacted Real Sociedad over Mikel Merino. Barca have not, and it has not said Arsenal there. So make of that what you will. You would have seen yesterday or the day before that Reece Nelson, apparently Arsenal in talks with Leicester City over a transfer for him, and Leicester are confident that they can get the Nelson deal over the line. So, you know, hopefully that provokes a bidding war between West Ham, Leicester, and anyone else interested. Benjamin Sesko, who we tried to get before the Euros on not leaving and joining other clubs and staying at Leipzig, he said, I thought it very well through. I believe I made the right decision. I wanted to gain more experience, learn more, and not rush things. Leipzig is an excellent club that can provide what I need for the next step. Leipzig's vision is clear. Everything is geared towards growth, progress, and high goals. I felt it was right to decide this way. Fair enough. I can't really disagree, even though I would have loved a striker. Laporte, the president of Barcelona, who, as you know, it seems like Barcelona are the front runners to sign Nico Williams. We're close to normality. Today, Barca can sign big names as we did our job. We'll clarify our financial situation soon, which is probably bad news for any Arsenal fan that has hopes of signing Nico Williams. Again, it feels like life goes full circle. We've been linked with Gyökeres once again, folks. Allegedly, Arsenal are willing to test the waters with an opening bid of 70 million euros, which equates to about 55 to 60 million pounds. Sporting Lisbon are still demanding his release clause of 100 million euros. He's met. He's been linked with a bunch of clubs. Apparently, Chelsea are still interested. Arsenal are ready to up the ante. I mean, if we can get the Calafiori deal over the line, if it isn't already, if you bring in Merino and you could get, a striker and a winger, I think we're doing all right in our pursuit of Premier League goals next season, people. And who wouldn't want someone that got 43 goals in 50 games in all comps, 29 in the league in their squad? So we'll have to see, people. But in relation to Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, Mikel Arteta's comments, Fabio Vieira, Gyökeres, and any other talking point that we've gone over that I've missed out saying in that segment, that's all we've got for today. Any emerging news, you can rest assured I'll get the vids and live streams and all of that good stuff out for you lot. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and boost the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to vote for the guy. Peace on that note.